This is an international podcast transmission. Is anyone out there? If you're listening, you've reached the No Fixed Agenda podcast.
You look like how I feel, bro.
Dude, I'm fucking tired. I'm tired. This week has just been a mental mind fuck for me.
Baby.
Yeah.
I love it. I love when the weeks are just skull fucking you. You know what I mean? Just get it. Just you know. And
yeah.
I feel you, bro. Just 18-hour days, maybe back to back, baby. Let's go.
It's one of those. These are the weeks of the days that you're like, why the fuck am I a business owner? I had 44 fucking packages show up at my warehouse door this morning. Thank God it was here for a client. I was like, what the fuck?
Between your 44 packages and no money in my bank account, man, the Stripe issue,
we're both broke. It's fine.
Batting 1,000 over here, living our best life, man. Living our best life, dude. But yeah,
I want to be a business owner. Really?
I can do whatever I want.
The fuck you do. It's like golf. All it takes is one good shot to keep you coming back. The rest of the time, it's a fucking shit show. Really.
For the illusion that you're going to hit the ball that good again.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, you're just talking, are we talking about addiction again or what?
I don't know, dude.
One more hit, man. One more hit.
Is this an intro for us for business bitching, or is this an intro for something else? I don't know.
This is the intro for business. So you want to start a business. That's we got to put that.
Let me tell you something.
Oh shit! I needed that laugh so bad.
Fuck.
All right, we're actually gonna do an intro on. We got Vera Stepina on the podcast today, you guys. Excuse our previous rant. We may or may not edit that out. Yeah, but we have another entrepreneur.
So sometimes that's why it's no fixed agenda, because sometimes you just got to bitch about something on air and just let it out.
It's like therapy, man.
Just therapy.
It's almost like you're speaking your problems into the mic and they just go away into Wonderland.
Anyway, speaking of problems on the mic, the Warden joins us.
The Warden.
Yeah, it was good to have her in and listen into. Actually, I didn't really know a lot of that backstory with her, which was kind of cool.
About her coming over from Russia?
Well, I knew that.
Okay.
I think everybody knows. If you know her, she's
pretty open about it.
She's pretty open about it, right? Yeah. I think it's the finance background.
Oh, I knew that. Yeah.
Right? Back end story stuff. I knew that there was a lot of battling with weight when she first got here, and the relationship and all that stuff. But just to hear her story about how she got into this, and again, entrepreneur to entrepreneur to entrepreneur, it was really cool to kind of have that conversation. Right. And it was funny listening in on how her ego was like, oh yeah, if you build it, they will come scenario really is what she was talking about versus what you were kind of talking about in a different light. From opening up gyms, it's kind of different as far as that perspective, which was really cool. And I kind of fit right in between the two of you as far as, yes, I'm going to put these things together and people are going to show, but oh wait, how many people are going to show up, and will they show up
at all?
I don't know. So it was quite interesting to hear the two different sides of the dynamic of opening up a gym, especially in that time frame of everything. Yeah. So
she became a gym owner at the same time, around the same time I decided to become a fitness coach. And so I think our journeys, although different, kind of aligned in regards to the decisions we made to get into fitness. And I think that's what makes us work so well together, right? And so I think we have, I guess you could call it kindred spirits in regards to our entrepreneur. It's kind of cool. I love working with Vera. I love that she's a coach in our community. I love to hear her story. And I kind of knew the finance piece of it. I didn't know the decisions behind her opening the gym. That's what I kind of like grasp onto, because it's I'm a gym owner, and so you want to hear other gym owners' stories. She didn't quite, I wouldn't call it a failure, because she now blossomed into this online coach, right?
It's weird, like you say that, but at the same time, she opened up her gym right before COVID,
the pandemic,
and then she had to like pivot
hard
instantly.
Yeah.
And so it was a hard right-hand turn.
Yeah. And so we have talked about how COVID changed the face of a lot of industries, and how we talked about it when we had Bliss on the podcast, and we talked about how that pivot, Bliss just started off. She was a coach in the gym, and then she turned into an online, right? And so for Vera to have a brick and mortar and pivot hard, that's very interesting to me, and how she did it. And it was her just trying to create different services in her business that actually ended up saving her business. So her brick and mortar did close, but I love to hear that. I think the audience is going to feel is going to hear a lot of that struggle that she had, but it wasn't really of a struggle. It was more so she just learned how to do it. And she's, there's a little bit of the ego in it. And so if nobody knows, fitness has a lot of egos. So, but Vera's is one, a very loving and encouraging ego. And so she's very confident in what she does, because she's talented. She's talented. She's very smart, and she's educated. So I think she's right to have that.
Whether you know Vera or not, if you're listening in on this and you're hearing Vera for the first time talk about it, or if you're somebody who is an athlete who's been around Vera, I mean, I think you're going to get something out of this conversation.
100%.
And Vera always has the, pointless wisdom, but yet very influential in a sense. Like we mentioned it just for a quick minute, and I think I posted it on social media the other day. It's the IKEA effect. Yeah. And it's funny how she goes into some of that as far as a competition side of things with her mentality and stuff. So she drops a little bit of nuggets here and there, and I think people are really going to just enjoy it overall. So I hope you guys love it. I know we had a great time conversing with her. So here she is, Vera Stepina. The No Fixed Agenda podcast is brought to you by Bubs Naturals. Their mission is simple: live better, longer. Bubs helps fuel people to reach their maximum human potential through supplements sourced from nature's highest quality ingredients, all by giving 10% of profits back to charity. That's right, people, 10% back to charity. Learn more about their NSF for Sport certified collagen peptides and electrolyte drink mix at bubsnaturals.com.
Let's move on.
Anywho,
It's a serious conversation.
That's a different kind of conversation.
But
anyway,
who do we have on the episode today?
The Warden joins us.
The Warden.
Hi, Vera.
AKA
Hi, my name is Vera Stepina.
Vera Stepina.
I'm an alien. They call me Warden.
We got to know what planet you're from, though.
Yeah, for anybody who's listening in who doesn't know you, go ahead and give us a quick 30-second elevator pitch on who you are.
This is your snapshot, like your Tinder profile.
Oh, this is your Tinder.
If
you're gonna,
you don't want to go with that. Yeah, my name is Vera Stepina. I originally come from Russia. I've been living in the US for 20 years this year officially. I have 3 kids. They're 14 and 9, I believe. And I work primarily with nutritional habits, and I help people understand some of the behaviors that we have around our nutrition, how to change them, and how to make your life a little bit more simple and a little bit easier while improving your health. So that's what I do. Like to work out, curse a lot, cry. That's who I am.
How did you get into the fitness side of things?
It's actually a pretty random story. I have a master's in finance that I never really used. And let's say 13 years ago, after I had my first baby, I gained a lot of weight. And his dad, my baby's dad, told me 2 years later that could lose a bit, maybe a little bit of weight. And I did gain a lot of weight. He had the best intentions. It doesn't matter because
The delivery.
the way, it's not even about delivery. It's how I heard it because it was true. And I really didn't like that about myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, he's right. And I just got really mad and I was at 220 pounds and I'm like, watch me, I'm going to lose some weight. And that's how it started. Did a lot of things really wrong, made a lot of mistakes, fucked a lot of shit up. And little by little started to get really interested in it. And I'm like, let's see if I can maybe get certified. And over the last 10 years, I certified in personal training, fitness nutrition, youth fitness, senior fitness. I have a bunch of credentials in supplementations for men, women, children. And yeah.
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of,
So you've been in the fitness space. Were you ever in the finance space?
No.
Not in the U.S.?
Not even in Russia.
Not even in Russia.
Wait, let me back up just a second. When did you come over from Russia?
2004.
2004.
I was 21.
Oh, I thought you'd been here a lot longer. Wow.
Is it because you think I'm older or because my English is so good?
Your English is so good.
Thank you.
And did you speak any English when you came over here?
I did a little bit. We actually have to take English in Russian schools from maybe 4th, 5th grade.
You know what? That's where the U.S. education system fails, I think. Our foreign language classes are terrible. Not to take anything away from a lot of the schools now, but I wish when I was going to school that they would have really pushed the Spanish aspect a lot more than what they did. And it's nice to hear that schools in Europe and Russia and everywhere else are actually having to teach other languages.
It was mandatory.
See, and that's the thing. It's not mandatory in a lot of our schools to do foreign language, at least not from my knowledge. Maybe it is in some spots, maybe it is here in California. But when I grew up in Illinois, like it was like, it's an elective. You want to learn how to speak Spanish. Here's a couple classes for you.
Yeah.
And it was never really this thing where it was like, okay, you need to learn it.
Yeah. My teenager is actually starting high school this year. And so he's going to go to Escondido Charter. And they do have to pick a language and they can choose between Spanish or Latin.
Oh, Latin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
I mean, he chose Spanish.
Yeah, I remember them. They're making my kids. 3 of my children went through like Spanish immersion schools, dude. So they were only taught in Spanish because they figured they were going to get English throughout. And so those Spanish immersion schools still happen. But I think it's more importantly the school system. And I think I just made myself a note, dude. I think the school system, we've had a conversation like this, is failing a lot of our young people. And I think it's up to the parents to pick up the slack on a lot of that stuff. So
do your kids speak Russian at all? Or do they dabble in it a little bit?
Yes. So my older one, he can speak a little. He can understand pretty well. My middle one understands a lot. He can speak a little bit better. Olivia, she might know a couple of curse words. Funny things like
where would she get those from?
Oh, no.
Not you, right? No.
But yeah, it's you talk to her and she doesn't understand most of it.
Yeah.
So you've been in fitness since your first or last child? Your last child?
Since my
first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then once you were in fitness, I think this is pretty cool because I see a lot of like influential people, women in particular, that are in fitness, that are high performers, and they decide to have kids and then they keep going. Right. And I think that is so freaking inspiring because childbirth in itself is its own. Wow. Like it's just amazing, right? To see what these women are going through. But talk to us a little bit about when you got into fitness. What was the first thing you did? And talk about like the beginning of that journey for you.
Oh, I love that. I think it kind of what you were saying right now, because there's so many women that I'm surrounded with. They're in fitness. And it's so easy sometimes to look at somebody and be like, she has a different life. She's so strong and she's so fast. And sometimes I even talk to ladies at our gym and I like to remind them where I come from. Because like I said in the beginning, I made a lot of mistakes and I did so many things wrong. So when I first started, I tried so many diets. I tried low fat, low carbs. I tried the limiting portions and all of these things. And I failed a lot and I slipped a lot and I restarted so many times. And I joined this gym. My friend actually took me, which is super funny because the gym was like $46 a month and back in 2012. And
I'm like, there's no gym that except for,
And I thought it was so expensive.
Wow.
But again, because the priorities were so different. And we did some strength training, and the lady that was training me for the first time, we still communicate. She became one of my best friends. That's how I got into strength training. So I think that first impression that somebody makes on you, it's going to be really long lasting. So I started with strength training, and then we did this Biggest Loser challenge, and I lost a shit ton of weight. You've seen me. I'm very competitive. No, not at all.
Which we're going to get into later on,
Right.
but that's besides the point.
And then after that, I started to run. And I was actually going to do my first half marathon when I found out that I'm pregnant with my second baby. So I still continued to exercise. And then he was 1 year old. He was 9 months old when I ran my first half marathon, 2014. And then I got pregnant again. And I continued to exercise very differently throughout my third pregnancy. And when I was pregnant with Olivia, she was born in June. So that December, I made a New Year's resolution to do something super challenging. And so I decided to try to do a triathlon. And I didn't know how to swim because I come from Siberia.
There's no water there. That's not frozen.
That's not frozen, exactly. And she was born in June. And in August, I took some swim classes, took 6 weeks of swim classes from the rec center. And I did my first triathlon in September. So that's how I do things. And I think a lot of times we just look at things and we always try to find the right thing to do. But the reality is the thing that you're going to do is going to be the right thing. Because we miss out on so many things waiting for the right thing. But in the end, all of the things that I did wrong, maybe if I drank less back in the day, probably would have benefited me. But at this point, everything that I did, even the wrong things, they still served me and they still brought me to where I am now.
Yeah.
And if I didn't do them, I don't know where I would have been.
Exactly. I think if you would have drank less, I don't know if the journey would have been different. I say that about my addiction all the time, right?
If I didn't drink, then maybe I would have never stopped.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah. And I had a conversation with somebody yesterday about how do you understand that you're experiencing happiness? You have to experience suffering. And so like you don't know what happiness feels like if you don't know what suffering feels like. And so I think that's equivalent to what we're talking about here. Is maybe what if I would have drunk it, the story would have been different? No, that's bullshit. You know what suffering feels like when you're drinking or when you're in addiction or whatever it is. And then you know what it feels like to not be that way. So it's pretty cool.
How did the online coaching thing start? Because you used to have a gym, Slim Gym.
Well, I think that's where I want to go. That's where I want to get into.
You guys want to talk about Slim Gym?
Yeah. No, I don't want to talk about the online just yet. I want to get the chronological journey of it, right? And so I'm like,
I tell you what, that's why you're color. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just here to push the conversation along.
Yeah,
I guess I jumped a little too far.
You got a little too far, bro.
Yeah.
It's like your lunges, bro.
Yeah.
We were lunging yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, we were lunging the same amount of reps. Fucker got like half the freaking field farther than me in the same amount of reps.
So my legs are 5 feet long, dude.
Yeah, bro.
Yours are 2.
Yeah.
Also like a mile away from the ground.
Yeah,
So it's much further.
Anyhow, you jumped ahead like your lunges,
Tomato.
yeah, whatever.
Anyway, I jumped a little too far. Go ahead and ask your chronological questions.
So so now you're working out, you're doing all this stuff. You gained your weight after your first child, you said,
Yes.
right? And then so you kept working out throughout your pregnancies?
My second and my third one.
Okay. And then did you you kept the weight off while you were doing all that stuff?
And I got better.
Okay. And then
everything was different.
And then you did your first triathlon when your third baby was born.
Yes, she was 4 months old.
So it was 4 months old, and you 4 months later after birth, you did a triathlon.
Yes.
You're built different, but that's besides the point, right?
That's what people say. They just say genetically, I just have advantages.
When I say you're built different, I'm not talking about physically. I'm thinking about mentally, right? Yeah. But okay, so you get into triathlon. Now talk to us about your first experience into the fitness profession. How did you get into wanting to coach and doing all that stuff?
Such a great story.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I talk about this enough, but you guys, when I say I fucked up a lot of things, it's like next level.
Yeah.
So in about 2013, we have this friend, and I'm still not going to talk too much about my personal stuff, but basically my kid's dad's friend brought a friend to our Thanksgiving, and that girl was into fitness and she looked amazing. And I just got certified with PT, and I had a couple of clients that I was work friends, and I was thinking about being certified as a nutritionist. And so I meet her, and she has an online business, and the business is called Sexy Fit.
Oh,
Sexy Fit.
Sexy Fit.
We're talking million years ago.
Wow.
Sexy Fit.
Yes.
So it's your brand, bro.
Pretty much. Big sexy
Sexy fit, dude. Come on, bro. Hey, I think we just got our next business idea, bro.
And so she has this online business and she does fitness online. You guys were talking about when fitness was not being delivered online at all.
Right.
She was one of the first people that did that.
Got it.
And she had some programming or some nutrition, very basic stuff. And I was talking to her and I'm like, I'm interested. And I have kids at home. And that was before I was pregnant with Olivia. And she's like, yeah, let's see if this works out. And I started working for her. So I worked with her for a couple of years, had Olivia 2016, fast forward. So I had a lot of practice doing online coaching, working for somebody else.
That was in your first job, fitness.
Yes,
Got it.
That was, so probably 3 years when I was helping people setting up their macros and making sure that I can answer the questions right or ask the right questions, just this whole online approach. And nobody really did that much when I first started doing it. And then Olivia was born in 15 to something. We had a big disagreement. I'm not going to go into details, but basically she let me go over email.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Well, that's online, bro. Come on.
That's online. And at this point,
though,
you never meet in person.
Yeah. Oh, she got, and at this point, I was wrong. She was wrong.
Yeah.
Both of us were at fault.
Yeah.
I got pissed for something that she did. She didn't like that I got pissed. And so basically she let me go. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to open my fucking gym now. 2016. That's May. I opened my gym, or July. I don't know. I opened my gym in December. No experience, no business experience. Have hardly any experience in fitness, but obviously I think I'm the shit, right? Because that's what happens when you're just sort of new, but a couple of things and you're like,
I know enough.
It's the ego, really.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ego in this industry.
So
100%.
Which I think that helps a ton because you are so arrogant that you do a lot of things wrong without having too much of imposter syndrome. And I think that's what really helps.
It's also the ignorance is bliss scenario, right?
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
You really don't know what you don't know. And it's like, all right, I'm just going to fucking do this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know what I'm doing. I'm like, and you have no idea that you've talked about it, how you got into owning a gym and you just thought you were just doing it just so you could work out more with your friends. And now all of a sudden this back end stuff, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. And I think for me, it wasn't ego. I had major imposter syndrome.
No, I know you did.
Yeah, early on. But so I was the same way when I started. I was like, dude, nobody's going to fucking come.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough.
Really? I thought the opposite.
No.
I'm like, I'm going to have a line at the door because I have such great ideas.
Yeah.
And because I have no experience in business, gym business. Business is a completely different world.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm going to open this gym. I'm going to serve all these moms and they're going to want to come work out with me. And we're going to have this cute studio and yada. And
where was the studio at?
Escondido. It was about a mile from home. But think about it. My kids are, Olivia is 18-month-old. And my older one he must have been 3 and Ivan was 6.
Wow.
Right? So with 3 kids, their dad works all the time from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. I'm by myself, no experience, getting this place, and I'm going to run a fucking business. Like, you have a gym. So I did that all by myself with 3 kids in the gym all day, every day.
Damn.
So the balls, you guys. Yeah. Yeah. And I think, again, because I just knew nothing, and that will really help me, that nobody showed up.
What's going on?
So here's a tip, you guys. If you want people to show up, say that they're not going to show up.
Yeah, exactly. So
if you think they're going to show up, nobody's going to show up.
And then I got into, for the first year, is that okay to talk about money a little?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first year of my business, 2017, you guys, I think my gross income was $12,000.
Wow.
And I had a lot of support from my kid's dad and, with paying the bills and mortgage and not mortgage, but rent and a lot of things.
Just life.
Yeah. And shit sucked. And I was there from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day with the kids, waiting for appointments. People don't show up, learning how to navigate social media, making websites, all of the things that I was never into. And then I ran into this coaching company. I ran into Gym Lunch online and I got on
They're still around.
on a Zoom call. Back then, they were brand new.
Yeah. And their number one play was the 6-week challenge.
Yeah, and I
back
did.
then.
I did.
That's what you're talking about. Oh yeah, Gym Launch is the 6-week challenge. Alex Hermosi.
Yeah, he took it from the camp.
Yeah, he started from.
He learned from the camp. Yeah, he just made it.
Do you understand? Do you know the story behind it?
Yeah, I know all of it.
Yeah. So for the audience, the camp. Sam, I can't remember his last name because it's very weird, hard to say. But the founder of the camp, gave him a budget of like, I don't know, $200 or something, like $1,000. Here, you got $1,000. Go do this thing. And he had fumbled around already, and he started this he's like, they were doing the 6-week challenges. And so he said, I got $1,000 to do this launch, and it's a 6-week challenge. And he just kept bastardizing it, keep going. And it became like the number one selling thing in fitness, man. And it started from Sam, the camp, and then Alex Hormozi just took it and made it viral. Dude.
Yeah. Like he made it, you know what 6-week challenge is?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I don't really know much about it.
General idea is that I come into you and I'm like, yo, Jeff, I want to lose some weight. And you say, okay, so you put 500 down. And if you lose 20 pounds or 5% body fat in the next 6 weeks, I give you your money back. Mm-hmm. But if you don't lose it, I'm going to keep it.
Oh.
And you provide me with nutrition, workouts. I can come as much as I want. There's a diet and everything. And it's really attractive to people because you have more skin in the game, and people like a good competition and all the things.
And there's a beginning and an end to it.
Yeah. And then afterwards, some gyms just circle that stuff. We had a lot of different parts to how to help people stay longer. And I did that. And honestly, I don't really support that model. But I'm glad I did it because I learned a lot of things on what to do and what not to do. And I had some people that were really successful and they lost the weight. They kept the weight off because they actually listened to what I said. Mm. But overall, from my experience, out of 10 people, only 2 people will be able to lose weight, keep it off, no matter what model you use, no matter what approach, no matter what calories. If it's a 600, or it's a 6-week challenge, or it's keto or anything, because 90% of your success have nothing to do with nutrition at all.
It's everything to do with your behaviors. But
and so I learned that I did the 6-week challenges for a while because I got on the call. It was crazy because it was so expensive back then.
Dude, the entry to Gym Launch, I think now is like, I don't know, 10 grand or something like that, 5 grand.
Excuse you?
Yeah, dude, it's expensive.
Oh, I don't know. Like, I don't even know what they do now because now Kale is running it and not Alex. But I got in there where Alex and Layla were running it. And so I actually got on the sales call with Kale. And he goes, it's $1,000 a week for 16 weeks. And I have $1,000 on my credit card and nothing else. So I immediately shot my pants, but I can't. And I'm like, okay, here's my card number. And he's like, if you don't make your money back in the first week, that first 1,000, you get a refund. So it's the same thing as 6-week challenge, but for money.
Got you.
Yeah. And you guys have made my $1,000 back in the first week. And I continue to make more than 1,000 every single week for the next 16 weeks. They showed me how to advertise, how to promote, how to sell, all of the things. It wasn't incredible, but I got some lessons. And after 16 weeks, I stayed with them and I got into the higher level program. And basically from there, I never looked back. All the things that I learned from Gym Launch and Alex and Layla, it's probably the most invaluable experiences that I had in my life.
Layla, who's I'm hoping to get Josh Graves on here. Layla used to work for Josh Graves at Fitness on Fire.
No, really? Oh, that's so funny.
That's his claim to fame. So I'm trying to get her on the podcast and all this other stuff.
They're about the same age, right?
Yeah.
I actually had Layla on my podcast once. Back in the day, I had a podcast.
Yeah, so he's, dude, I would love to get her on there. I got her cell number, but I don't know if she's going to answer me. but that's a small world.
Both of them, Layla and Alex, they're super responsive to Instagram. Like, it's what they do. They say we always try to respond to people because we're not above anybody else. That was cool.
That's a nice take on it, to be honest. That's refreshing.
Gym Launch, I did a consultation with Gym Launch when I opened up. And I guess because I came from the 6-week challenge environment, I was just so jaded from it.
Yeah.
And I could have totally done it. But I don't think OTH would have been OTH as it is today if I had done that.
What's the typical demographic that gets into that? Is it more of the just beginner coming off the couch type of mentality.
Yeah.
Not so much I don't see it as somebody who's been in the fitness.
Yeah, I would say about 80% of them are people that are either have no fitness or have not done fitness in a long time. And then the other 10% or 20% are going to be like people that were into fitness and then fell back and or had a baby. Is a good way to jumpstart back in.
Yeah.
And then like those, like you said, like Vera said, I think she's right. About 20% of them keep it off. And
Jonathan did it with me.
Yeah. And so some people I've done hundreds of, I think I've done five challenges in my life when I was at the camp. And when I started working there, I got tired of seeing the 80% come back and come back and come back. And I was like, there got to be a better way. And to Vera's point, it's really hard to change somebody's behavior if they're not ready to do that. Yeah. So,
well, yeah, I think that's the thing. But those are also the same people that lock onto the fad diets for the most part.
Oh yeah, dude.
They're so attractive.
They're so attractive. What do you mean? If I just remove this one thing, I'm going to lose all my weight. I'm going to get happy. And I'm like, no, no. But you go to these 6-week challenges and the gym launch, I will say this. I know a lot of people that have done the gym launch plays. Right. Vera's one, Josh Graves is another, the camp. Right. And so hardcore fitness, a lot of people in the industry run the gym launch play, and they were very successful because it was very easy they came with the marketing pieces. They came with the meal plans. They came with this. And when I when I did a consultation with them, they were like, you can make it now whatever you want. So the plays are still the same, but now you can make it to whatever it is you want. And I think Vera, I'll jump ahead where Jeff's at now that you're in your online business.
Yeah, for my 12-week challenge.
How long did you have your gym business before you get into that?
So, again, a very cool story. It happened during COVID. So 6 months before COVID, Alex Hermosi makes this announcement to us because we had a weekly call with him at this point, and he was running all of them. And he has this like huge video for us. And he's like, you guys, I think in-person gym business is dead. He's like, I think we're all going to move to online business very soon. And social media was making so much fun of him. They're like, wow, in-person business is never going to go away. You're full of shit. Yeah. And so he suggested this thing. He's like, how about we do some hybrid stuff? You keep your gym business and we're going to try this online platform where basically you help people do nutrition, but it's going to cost a lot more because it's a lot more valuable. It provides you with things that you're going to use for the rest of your life. He's like, anybody can run bootcamp classes. It's not going to help you lose weight. Mm-hmm. And so that comes with like different stuff. And whoever sells the most, makes the most money in the next 12 weeks over the course of this hybrid thing that we're doing is going to get a free business mastermind with me in Austin in October. And I'm like, well, I'm going to try it. Alex said try it, so I'm going to try it. And so somehow I ended up being one of those 15 people that got the most customers and so made the most money. And I went to that mastermind. So that started. So this is October 2019. And we go into February and March and COVID happens. Dude, and everybody's freaking out.
The whole fucking industry as a whole, dude. The world.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We started to hear about this whole COVID stuff. And I'm already thinking, and I'm still with Gym Launch. And 2 weeks before the shutdowns, I announced to my gym that we're starting to add online classes. So we started running all of my workouts. We're going to start to mirror them on Zoom, and people were able to join them via online or in a gym. So I gave them options right away. So when the gyms closed down, I already had the thing running. And because of that, I'm like, okay, so now we're just going to make it work this way. Still have to feed my family.
Yeah.
And it just went from there.
I actually thought really quick, I'm talking about the whole entire in-person gym thing, like when everything shut down, like I honestly thought, and a lot of them did 24-hour fitness and LA Fit. I thought a lot more of those would actually close down because people wouldn't want to go back to this like large scale location where hundreds of people are coming in and out on just a rotating door. I don't know.
So half of them, I think, closed down.
Some of them did. But it's one of those things where I think that for 24-hour fitness or LA Fitness, whatever it is, like how many gyms can you actually have and still be making money on that type of service? So it probably served them really well for that. I don't know if I would have ever seen like smaller private small business gyms closed down. But I was like, oh yeah, there's got to be a way that these 24-hour fitnesses and Planet Fitness, and there's no way that all of these are going to survive through everything.
Yeah, I was part of that. Vera, you were a gym owner, right? And I had just made the leap to leave my career to do fitness full time right when that happened. And I'm like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to get a base and I'm going to get a client base. And I was shut down. I'm like, fuck my life. What am I going to do? And I think we've said this before. I think COVID changed the face of a lot of industries, but in particular to the fitness industry. And I never once thought when I saw that piece that Alex said, everybody's going to go online. I never thought that. And I don't want to get political with the whole COVID thing and all this bullshit. But at the end of the day, everybody's like, did you hear about this thing happening in China? They're going to close down in China. And I'm like, that shit's never going to happen. I'm one of those people that don't react to things in media for a whole lot, or unless it's right in front of me, I'm not going to deal with it. And so I was like, we'll see what happens. And then the fucking shutdown happened. Now it's in front of me. Right. And so, but when all that happened though,
and we kept going.
Yeah, we kept going. But even then there's no way this is not going to be life for the rest of my life. And then I was dealing with other personal things. Like I started coaching my mom. I had my mom to lose 100 pounds. And all this other stuff. And she found a community in the gym, and I hooked her up with a couple other coaches at 24-hour fitness, like we're Silver Sneakers. And my mom's an older woman. So Silver Sneakers was right up her alley, pole aerobics, all that stuff. And so she started getting a routine, which is probably the most important thing for somebody that's trying to lose weight, is to get the routine down. And COVID happened. And then I saw all this. This can't be it, man. I said, there's a way this can't be it. The in-person training is not going away. Nothing against Alex, and he's very smart, but it couldn't be it. And so that's what sparked me to start doing stuff out of my garage and then, going into acts. And I'm like, it was the fight to go, this online training is a thing. And I get it. It took about 50% of the fitness industry and it put them all online. But now I'm starting to see people flip flop between online and in person, online and in person.
It's a completely different experience. Yeah. And I came back to coaching in person because I really like having that relationship with people in person, communicating with them. The fact that I can put my hand on you, like it's very different. You
can't give them the famous Vera look without it being in person.
There is actually on my website.
But it's not the same. Right. It's just not the same.
No, it is not. Yeah. But if you go on my website, one of my former clients, Jess, who made my website, we would pop up. Like 2 minutes in, like I pop them from the bottom and it says, I know what you ate yesterday or something like that. Like with the look, with the RVO. Yeah. But yeah, it's very different. But I think everybody took it very differently. But I think, so his first goal for us was to help us make money. Everything that he did, this is what's going to help you make money. It's how it'll help you scale. It's going to help you spend more time with the family so that you can actually give more to people. Because when people talk about, I want to give more and that's why I do this and that. If you don't have more, you can't give more. So you have to take care of yourself so that you can help others. And so with this whole model, he said, online business, easier to scale, easier to provide for more people at the same time. You can spend less time and do more for people and help them better. So if you want to do this, then you can.
Yeah.
And I think, back to your point when you said 50% of businesses, they dropped out during COVID, those were probably the businesses that weren't sustainable in the first place. Yeah. To me, it came down to June, July, and I started to remember how many kids I have. 93, right? And with all of them at home, and I realized I can do all this stuff from home without having to spend 16, 14 hours at the gym. And I can do it like on my schedule. And I'm like, that kind of makes sense. And so by the time August, September, the second shutdown rolled around, I was like, I'm just going to close it down. And I'm going to move. So for me, everything that happened during COVID was very beneficial. It was a huge eye-opening experience for me.
And the gyms that stayed open, Josh Graves, North County Fitness and Performance, MROC, you just keep going, the gyms in the area that stayed open. Hell, Regina opened her gym during the pandemic, dude. Opened during the pandemic.
Wow.
And so, you know what I'm saying? You say what you want about any one of those gyms, whether you like them or not. to me, that says a lot about those individuals that did that.
Oh, yeah.
And then kept their doors open. And I think the pandemic was a very tough situation for a lot of fitness businesses because of the restrictions that were being put in place. And from a volume perspective, those gyms required us, just like you on the online space, you needed volume, all right, to make it, you can serve more people. Well, that's the whole purpose of these boutique gyms that do group classes or larger group classes. Volume matters, right? And so you want to be able to serve more people in a larger group than you can one-on-one. But all that to say is, like, kudos to all those gyms that I just mentioned that stayed open and are still open today. And so kudos to you pivoting as well. So you pivoted into the online space.
Yeah.
And where are you at with that? And talk to us about that journey. And what are the primary services that you provide there?
So again, I started with more of helping people how to lose weight, right? And then because I had to lose so much weight, and with all of the things that I learned along the way, all the different types of fitness that I've done, and again, very cool experience that I had, I got into coaching with Trevor Cashy, who also worked with Alex Hormozi. And so he has a PhD in biochemistry, I would say probably the smartest person, one of the two smartest people that I know in my life. The second one being Alex Viada, who's my current coach. Somehow I always find these mentors and I'm like, we're just going to go with that. And I picked up a lot of stuff from Trevor in terms of this whole psychological background and helping people understand what they do more than just follow, and learning how to respond differently to all of the different situations that happen to us, for us, without us, all the things. It's just fascinating to me. Fascinating to me the way human brain works. It's fascinating to me all of the limiting beliefs that we have for ourselves, our biases, things that our opinions, like all of the other things. And so just basically just working a little bit more on that and helping people understand the very basic approach to nutrition, being able to keep track of your data, helping you understand that you shouldn't be against it and that how to like it, and just working on helping them challenge themselves a little bit more so that we can keep trying a new thing. Because one thing you know about me, if it's so stupid, I'm going to go for it.
This is pretty much every competition she decides to do. So.
Yeah,
which is a great segue to start talking about. Yeah. So right now, how many people on average do you service in your online business right now?
So that really depends. So about twice a year, I run my Foundationals Challenge. And I take anywhere between 10 to 20 people in that challenge, depending on the season, where I'm at. So I'm probably going to do my second one beginning of July. So that'll be half through the year. We did one in January. And I usually have about anywhere between 20 to 30 one-on-one clients, depending on, again, the season, the schedule with my kids. And I have some people that I just program for without having to do in-person calls and just having a little bit less of a personal approach, but still having them program for them individually. I work with a couple of people from the gym. So what I do, I take their workout schedule in consideration. I know their goals. I know what they can do. I see their limitations. I work with them. So I add additional programming based on their goals to help them get better at running, get better at whatever goals they have, to make it a little bit more individual.
I think that's the thing that you and I were talking about yesterday, Jeff, when we were talking about MROC and the collaborative aspect. I think a lot of fitness professionals should have, and there's a lot of gyms. And if anybody in the audience is a gym owner or a fitness professional, I think in the industry, we talked about ego a lot, right? And it's in the fitness industry, there's so much damn ego. And I wanted to make sure that I got into the industry and I have an ego. We all do, but I didn't want my ego to take over. And when I say fitness for all levels as my vision and as my mission statement is, it has to be collaborative for that to happen, because I don't know all levels, right?
As you should.
Yeah. And it's, myself personally, I don't know all levels. I don't know. I've done a try, but I'm not good at them. Right. And I think, I've done powerlifting, but I'm not the best at it. Right. I've done half marathons or long runs and I'm not the best at them. Right. But I can do them and I can coach somebody through it. And I think the relationship you and I have between the community of OTH and your brand and what you're serving on your online space, I think is the exact definition of being collaborative without ego. Right. And there's enough business out there for everyone. I think the latest stat was like 70% still obese in the United States. It's insane. You're telling me out of those 70%, out of billions and billions of people, you can't find another set of person that needs your help from a fitness perspective? Yeah. Bullshit. Right. And so you just keep on trucking. You get somebody on a path, and my heart, and I think that's why you and I work so well together, is because the heart's the same. We just want to make people better, right? We just want to show them their full potential. We just want to love them and show them that they can actually do what they think they can do, as long as they have a plan and they just fucking do it, right? So much of the industry right now is like, hoard on. I got 150 members. They're all mine. I don't want them to be exposed to anything else.
Good luck with that.
Fucking good luck, dude. Business is a fickle business, dude.
But the way that the athlete is now, people want to do different styles of training. Some people want the Spartan. Some people want the triathlon. So you're going to go to, nowadays people are not just going to just one gym to try and get it, but people are like now looking, this goes to your point, like how the fitness needs to be collaborative because the athlete has changed. So there's so many dynamics now, or so many different genres of sport that people want to try out and do. High rocks versus Deca versus triathlon. I want to run a full marathon. I want to do an ultra for fun. That's where the collaboration aspect comes in for the fitness industry. Is like, why aren't more people working together? Right. Because the athlete, I think, has changed a little bit. And it's crazy to me.
That's true.
And you and I have had that conversation.
Yeah, and my coach Josh Graves is like, dude, he started a networking for fitness people, and it's up in Orange County, but just to see the collaborative aspect of things from an online perspective, from gym owners, from all these things. And then they're all sharing just their ideas and their marketing ideas. And hell, I've even sent clients up there like, hell, you're going to be here and you want to do this, go there. Right. I'm not afraid. And this goes back to the conversation that we've had past on this episode, on this show, on this podcast is, are you afraid of all the other gyms around you? Fuck no, I'm not. I encourage them. I want the CrossFit gym to open up next to me, right? I want a Spartan gym to open up 2 doors down. I want a camp 2 doors down. I want an online coach in my gym. I want a coach that does body compositions in my gym, because I don't want to do all those things. And I think fitness, if you think about fitness when it, like in the 70s and the 80s and in the 90s, it was all bodybuilding, right? It was all Arnold in the sweaty ass, grungy, like the arms that we just got done doing, right?
Muscle Beach, baby.
Yeah. But now it's everything. There's so much. And I'm so ADHD. I've always wanted to lift heavy and run long and do all these other things because I like variety.
Wait a second, hold on. You want to run long?
I heard that, but I thought I heard it wrong.
Yeah,
but now that we have it on video.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a video audio, like, and Omar said he wants to run long. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? 200 meters is long for him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which we saw earlier today.
But I did them, all right?
Because you can do hard things.
Because to do hard things. Thank you. 200 meters is hard.
I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that
I used to run long, okay? Would you like me to run long again, sweetheart?
Let's not talk about long.
It's the only thing I got long on me, all right? But it is about 200 meters.
But I think back to your point where you're talking about collaboration. And I think that as long as we help, again, our main purpose is to help our client to reach their goals, to maybe make a change in their lifestyle, enhance their lifestyle. That's the primary goal that we have. Yep. Right? And if some other gym takes away a person from you, maybe you weren't good enough. So, or they prefer a different style, which means it's fine.
Yeah. I've lost clients since I've opened up the gym because they want to do triathlons. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to do triathlons. And you're the only person in the gym wants to do a triathlon. So you refer them to somebody else who does it better. Do that.
I always took it very simple. It's if people come through and you go, I have 6-month agreements. I have month-to-month agreement, different style. I have people that have been with me for 3-4 years, 5 years at this point, and they keep changing their things and keep doing new things. And I have somebody who will come to me and work with me for 6 months and then go somewhere else. As long as I provide them with the tools that they can use by themselves later, that's fantastic. And maybe they will go to somebody else. Maybe they'll find other services that they find more beneficial. Maybe they will do things on their own. Maybe they will reverse and go back to keto. Because again, I can help you build habits, but I can't build your brain. So it's just one of those things. Yeah. But again, to each their own. And to your point is there are always people that you can help as long as you can show them that you can help them and you actually deliver.
Right.
So we want to talk about competitive aspects of it, right?
That I don't have. Yeah.
That you don't have. But before we get into that, I have some questions here really quick. You've helped me out with my nutrition. You've helped out some of our other friends with nutrition. I'd like to know, because we talked about the fad diets here really quick. I want to know what your quote unquote favorite fad diets have been over what have you seen? What have you seen that you're just like, what the fuck?
Best and worst.
Like the best, I guess the best of the worst. Because I've always loved hearing this from different people.
I fucking hate this question, by the way.
It's just there's so many and they all have their own shitty things.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
So I want to preface this by saying that every fad diet works. Every single that works, and it works for one very specific reason, is because you're eliminating some of the calories that you're consuming. Right. So when people go on keto, it's pseudo keto. It's not a real keto anyway, because everybody still eats a lot of protein, which is not keto. Keto is high fat. And it's actually, I'll jump a little further. I'm getting into my powerlifting competition. I'm competing at USP Nationals on Monday. And I'm doing a weight cut to make sure that I fit into my weight division. So I need to cut 6 pounds. So I'm loading water, I'm loading sodium. And tomorrow I have to eat 25 grams of carb max. And so when people say that they eat keto and they eat no carb, I laugh like a hyena, because 25 grams of carb, you guys, it's 3 portions of green beans, and nobody does that. To your point, keto or pseudo keto that people call keto, this is one of those things that people really feel to follow. There's a lot of science behind how it helps you,
aka Instagram influencer.
Yeah, but again, for the most
YouTube
part,
search.
Every fad diet you take, they are all going to work for you for one reason or another. But I think my most favorite diet right now, I would say the carnivore diet.
Yes, I was going to go there. Because it's like the number one thing that's popping right now, bro.
Oh my God. I only eat meats now.
Meat, butter, and berries, baby.
Yeah. And that is a little bit more paleo. Okay. So it's like there in that area.
Oh, pickled. But again, they do pickled stuff. Yeah. I don't even fucking know.
And people are like, oh my God, it's because I started eating more meat. I started to lose weight. I'm like, no, bro, it's because you stopped eating donuts and pizza. And again, it's the very simple fact that you're eliminating a whole lot of calories. You're cutting your calories down. And even when we were working with you, there's so many things that once Jeff did a personal record of tracking food for 6 months.
I got really good for 4 months, and then it was like it started tapering down. You're being nice.
And this is coming from somebody like, I really don't want to fucking track food, dude. I don't want to track food.
Yeah.
So thank you. I did a personal best. I did really good for 4 months, and then it was like, 2 months.
But when you had to pick it up, you knew how to do it, and you weren't against it.
Yeah.
And I think that's my main point, is to show people this is what we can learn by just simply tracking food and just getting some information. Then you get to do whatever the fuck you want with it.
Which, by the way, I've been able to maintain 235.
Which I can tell.
Yeah. So
you look incredible.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been able to. So when I started with you, it was 245, got down to 230 right around the High Rocks May timeframe. Now I'm able to maintain 233 to 235 this entire time since. So it goes back to, again, learning those things that I can eliminate, but still yet enjoy that I've been able to do it. That I needed. So that was one of those things. That's why I wanted to ask, because it's, as I've gone along my fitness journey, when I was in CrossFit, it was all about paleo. 5, 6, 7 years ago, it was like, oh yeah, we're doing a paleo diet, and
people started getting sick and fucking having bad breath and doing all this shit.
People go to extremes, I think, a lot of times.
Yeah. Yes, because this is the nature of the beast in this world, is everybody wants fast results. They want to see everything. Me too.
I want everything. I want to bench 200.
Right. And so you get on these fad diets, and it's like you notice everything like within the first 3 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever it is. You're like, oh, this is working.
Because you lose a lot of water in the first 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I think the important thing is like, there's always something. And I hate the question because that's like the number one question that I get as a coach. And it's like, what do you think about this diet? And I'm
I know a lot of fitness professionals don't like answering that question, but I find it quite interesting because there's so many diets out there. And you said it, like every fad diet works to some degree, right? It's what habits are you picking up from that and what are you taking away and how long can you keep that? And because that's the thing, it's like I can get into it and New Year's, like everybody's into the fad diets come New Year's, and all of a sudden, like 4 weeks in, they're like, oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah. But I think what happens, a bigger thing happens that we don't discuss a lot is, again, so my generation, I'm 41, right? So growing up in Russia, we had 10 women for every 6 men. So standards were really high. Like you can't go pick up some bread without having makeup on and wearing heels.
Wow. You were looking for a mate, bro.
Oh, you just,
If you were always on the hunt for a man, bro, 10 to 6, bro.
Yeah.
I'm going to move to Russia.
Yeah. And growing up with this, you have to be a certain weight. You have to be skinny. I'm not going to go into it. But again, because the standards, and even still, I think it's getting better now a little bit with younger population. So I hope that works out. But because of my age, I'm always going to have a lot of clients because of all the women my age, 30 and over. But this whole always trying to look a certain way, look apart, having to do something all the time, you go through this. And again, a lot of times, like Jeff mentioned, we give up quickly because the results are too slow. They're not as good as we expected them to be. They're not as good as people promised us to be, even though you didn't stick to the diet that I provided you, but you think you did. Therefore, the result should be this, and it's not that because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. But anyway, once you go through this experience 1 time, 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, you start to develop this very different belief about yourself that you basically become a failure.
You're broken.
Yes, and which I hate that because nobody's broken because you're not a chair, right? You're not broken.
Yeah.
But every time you go into the next thing, you already have this subconscious belief that you are broken and you are a failure. And therefore, you prevent yourself from being successful without even knowing it.
It's the one thing I try to unprogram in a client one-on-one.
Which is one of the most challenging things. So I've had hundreds of women that I worked with, hundreds, I don't know. And what I found, them women that have limited experience with diets are the ones that are more likely to have success. And women that go through diets and they're in their 40s and they lost and gained the same 20 pounds over and over again, they already have that belief that nothing is going to work for them. Mm-hmm. And so working on that part is literally the only thing that's going to help them get results.
And it's so hard. It's one of the
and that's
hardest
why I like to focus on performance.
Yeah.
Or other things. That's why I do my things in a way of a challenge. Yeah. In the way of competition, I ask questions. You've done my challenge. Mm-hmm. So we do different assignments that you think they have nothing to do with nutrition.
But they do. It's all about the behavior behind it and the things that you're trying to unprogram. Yeah, I highly recommend it. If you are looking for somebody to do that, work with you on your nutrition and just give you a basic understanding about your behaviors and your relationship with food, I think your program's phenomenal for that. And let's talk about the stupid shit that you do.
Yeah, here we go.
All right. This is the exciting piece.
Where
right?
do I start?
Yeah. So just so you can get an idea, Vera likes to hang around a lot of interesting, we'll call them interesting people.
Oh, yeah. Interesting is a good word.
Yeah, interesting, right? And we'll go from that and go, well, interesting. The conversations that they have is they send each other links. I think they have this one thing where they like, what did you say with Cece this morning? Oh. She sends you something and she goes, thoughts.
Yeah.
And it's that something, you guys, for the audience.
It's something where you potentially can die. And then she'll tag me on it and she'll say,
like, thoughts.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And the thing is that she's not interested in my thoughts. She already signed me up for that thing.
Yeah. Cece sent me a couple of them and I'm like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah.
24-hour workouts, all this other shit.
All the things we do. My very first stupid shit that I've done, I think it's when got on the plane and came to this country. The day before I arrived to the United States, we watched The Day After Tomorrow. It just came out in the movie theaters. Very appropriate.
Fair.
I didn't sleep that night. And then we came here. I had this 4-month program that would help me just work and study, right? It was a work visa. So the very stupid decision that I made, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to go back home. So I'm just going to stay here. That's where it all started. But from having that first half marathon that I ran in 2014, and with my longest run being maybe 8 miles, hardly training. So that was my first one. Then I did that triathlon. Then I did that Ragnar Trail. So it was October of 2015. Olivia's 5-month-old. I'm breastfeeding. I'm with a breast pump in the tent, right, in the campground, and fucking Temecula. They used to call it Helmecula back then because it's 105 degrees outside. And I'm like, I'll just try. And so I think that's what really moves me forward a lot is I don't say no to an opportunity, and I just take it, and then I see where that takes me. And I think, did I get in trouble? Yes. But I think more often than not, it moves me forward rather than just fucks me up. So maybe ultra running wasn't that good of an example because I got a little bit hurt there. But again, because I couldn't do ultra running anymore, then I started doing other things.
Yeah, you dabbled into ultra running for a quick minute.
Yeah, it's friend Izzy and I, my other half, as I call her, we met at a run, and I'm like, damn, that girl is boring. I'm like, she's an RBF. I'm like, what? Hated her, and we're best friends now. So I did a number of 50Ks. Actually, don't know how many. I've done 150 miler. I've done a 100K race, which was 65 miles because, I got lost for 4 miles, I think. What else? I've done 32 Spartan races, 10 Tough Mudders. I don't know how many half marathons. I've done 2 full marathons only, official ones with the medal. What else? A bunch of 5Ks, 10Ks, obviously, like all kinds of trail stuff. Ragnars, trail races, 2 triathlons, 1 sprint, 1 reverse. Really suck at swimming, which I'm currently working on.
The reverse?
Yeah.
So you go swim, run.
You run.
Oh, no. Run, bike, swim. Yeah.
Which would suck to finish off with a swim.
Dude,
Yeah.
you're like,
It wasn't a
trying
pool.
to drown people.
It was
man.
a half of a distance, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which actually, again, like back to that whole, you don't know what you don't know. I didn't know how shitty I was at swimming. So I'm like, I'll just do a second one. And now I'm back in the pool and like doing drills and working out. I'm like, fuck, I suck at swimming.
Yeah.
Because I know. So, yeah, what other stupid shit would you like to talk about?
Well, what are you into now? I know you got some exciting things that are happening now that I know about, but let the audience know.
Let's just start with the most recent. Tell us where you're going off right now.
Tomorrow I'm going to Las Vegas. I'm competing in the USPA Nationals, which is United States Powerlifting Association. So I qualified to compete in Nationals. You have to be a certain class. I did my first powerlifting meet. I walked in, I picked up the barbell without the belt.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. No,
just walk right in and just, hey, I'm just going to start up this thing.
No belt, no knee sleeves. So I go by super raw. There's raw division. And then what's another one? There are 2 raw divisions.
There's 2 raw, there's semi-raw or something
raw
like that.
And something else. Anyway, so I go by super raw because I don't use any equipment at all. I always liked doing strength training. I enjoy looking bulky. I enjoy picking up heavy things. I enjoy being able to show off and that kind of stuff. So not that I'm competitive at all, of course, obviously. So I did prepare for my powerlifting meet, but most of it was the commands, making sure you can do things properly, hit the certain depth and squat. You have to hold the pause for the bar cannot bounce. So all of the things. So we tried out, and I was talking to Alex, my coach, and he goes, Nationals in June. I'm like, I'm not going to go. And then I decided, why wouldn't I go?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing right now. That's just a part of it.
And then the next thing you got going on?
The next thing I have is Rally in the Valley in August. It's a 3-day event.
Is that the one over on the East Coast?
West Virginia.
Yeah. Okay. That's the one I want to hear about more.
Yeah. Oh, it actually sounds super fun. Despite the part where you have to, on Friday, the first 2 events are going to be between 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. but they're very short. And then there are 4 events on Saturday and I think 3 events on Sunday. It's going to be running, paddleboarding, getting your ass on an ass bike, swimming, doing wall balls in between your swimming, mountain bike. It's everything possible. So what is this whole hybrid thing that everybody's talking about? And I think there's quite a lot of misunderstanding there on what hybrid actually is, right? Everybody thinks they're hybrid.
Everybody, that's what it makes me laugh sometimes, is the fact that if you do 2 different sports in 2 different, like in one event, all of a sudden you become a hybrid athlete.
Yeah.
Where it's that term right now it's really trending, so to speak, and everybody.
No, carnivore's trending right now, bro.
Carnivore diet.
Yeah. Hybrid and carnivore diet are hybrid.
Kind of one of those
hybrid's
things.
been around forever now.
But everybody's playing into it now.
Oh, yeah.
The rally.
Well, yeah, because it's cool.
It's a cool term. Everybody's picking up on it.
And then there's high rocks.
Yeah.
And working with somebody, so my coach, Alex Viada, he was the one who actually introduced the term years ago before hybrid was a hybrid. And he wrote the Hybrid Athlete book back in 2014. He's actually writing his second Hybrid Athlete book right now. And so the reality is everybody is, I'm doing triathlons, I'm a hybrid, which is completely incorrect, cannot be further from the truth. But hybrid is not. A sport hybrid is a methodology. And if you're working simultaneously are more than 2 things that don't support each other, that's what hybrid methodology is. So being able to lift heavy and run long, that's basically the essence of hybrid. It's just very interesting because it changes our approaches, changes our beliefs about fitness, changes the things that we can approach fitness, how we can do. Now suddenly we can lift and run and get better at both at the same time. So now you don't have to take a break from running when you're working on your strength, which has been working incredibly well for me. In the last year and some.
Well, that goes back to athletes are just more in tune with wanting to do different things. And I want to do a triathlon, but yet I want to go to a powerlifting competition.
Yeah.
And that's just the way that it's changed. And we talk about how it used to be Muscle Beach, and people, that's really the only, like back in the 70s and 80s, really that's what you thought about when you like, hey, I'm an athlete.
That and Richard Simmons, bro.
I can just see you doing some.
Yeah, baby.
I can just see you doing it right now.
But then like all the bodybuilders, they're like, oh, like you can't do cardio because you lose all your gains. And maybe you didn't have any gains in the first place. Maybe you're not that good of an athlete to begin with, but nobody likes to hear that. And this is why also I don't have any friends except for you guys.
Yeah. And then, so you're going to Virginia.
Yes, in August. Doing a couple of stupid shits with CC. Run up the hill for a mile, pick up rifles buckets,
and not buckets, ammo tins.
Yes. And I've never actually held a rifle, so that's the only reason I said yes.
Yeah. I think we should do that, dude.
It sounds cool.
Yeah, so we're Camp Pendleton.
Wait, it's
just a mile.
July
dude.
20th. It's just 1 mile.
It's just a mile.
Yeah. And
Wait, you're picking up.
Don't get into that. We're just running a mile, dude.
But I just think about like Jeff holding a rifle. That would look real cool.
Yeah. And wearing that green shirt right now, dude.
Or no shirt.
Yeah. But you're American. It's on Camp Pendleton.
It is on July 20th. It's going to be 107 outside.
July 20th, dude. That's the day before my birthday.
Can I wear my American jorts and?
I would recommend it.
I think we should order Speedos, dude. American Speedos.
Okay,
bro.
so I don't know about that.
What? Well, come on, Vera.
Because I feel like you'll get too many people just attracted to you, and you'll get distracted, and you distract other people.
I'm focused on that mile.
Yeah.
Man.
Let people.
I'll be focused on my rifle while people are focusing on my rifle. American
flag, Speedos, rifle. I don't know. Who's going to say no to that?
Who is going to say no to that?
Yeah. The bad thing about me is I visualize things, and once you do, then you can't unvisualize that. And I have.
You got a visual now. I'll be riding up with the Speedos, the American flag Speedos.
I have a visual of that. Not really.
Yeah, baby. Let's go.
That's why I take magnesium before going to bed so I can fall asleep, stay asleep, and not think about that.
Come on. And then I want you to talk about one of the things that you just recently told me, which is the HyperCon Games.
HyperCon Games. So they are local. And last year it was called Battle Bunker, which is located in Chula Vista. And the qualifiers were, I think they had regional qualifiers and East Coast, West Coast. So they did a little bit differently this year. I don't know the way it worked out last year because I couldn't run. I couldn't run for a year and a half, I think 2 years, which I realized that I actually could have been doing a little bit of running now that I know better, but whatever. So CC participated last year, but this year they announced it's going to be in a different place. Again, it's a hybrid style competition, which means you can be basically doing anything and everything. The difference with this one, we don't know the events at all. And the workout that we were supposed to do to qualify for the event is to, again, emphasize all of the different areas of different strength that a hybrid athlete might have. Again, it doesn't mean that you're still going to be doing good at competition, right? Mm-hmm. But we had to do 10 minutes of maximum meters on a rower, 1 rep max of a deadlift, maximum reps of squats in 3 minutes at 165 pounds for women, 225 for men. And then we're going to have to do a timed mile. And from a timed mile, we'll have to go into a dumbbell DT workout. It's a CrossFit hero workout. And based on those results, everybody is assigned different points. And basically, the less points you have, the higher you are on the board. I know it's usually worth the average. Yeah, but that's how it works. So let's say I pulled 325 for my deadlift. I got shit ton meters on a rower. I got a shit ton of squats. Those are my strength. I did okay on the mile. Again, I'm still working on building some of my speed. And they were taking 24 top women, 24 top men. And I placed 25th.
Wow.
And they sent the first round of invites. And whoever declined the invite, then the spot starts to roll down. So pretty much, I knew right away, out of 24 people, somebody's going to say no. Especially the way they announced it, it's going to be on an island. You don't know what the events are going to be. It's going to be field day on Friday, grid day on Saturday, and a survivor day on Sunday. And you need to bring a tent, a sleeping bag, goggles, and a hydro pack with you.
Wow.
And that's all you know.
And where's this at?
It's going to be on an island in the Pacific Ocean, but the way they talk about, it's Austin and Hunter.
Yeah.
And you are departing from Long Beach. We're thinking it's the backside of Catalina.
Oh, probably.
It probably is. Yeah.
I would assume so.
Yeah. And so they're like, you can have a couple of people that come with you, their accommodations, hotels. So we're thinking it's Catalina backside.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
Catalina's the closest one that's got access to camping and hotels in it.
Yeah. And so basically they say you're going to spend a lot of time in this dark, cold, scary water. And I think a lot of athletes that can be good at strength and speed or running, these whole unknown things, not everybody likes it, but that's what makes me so excited most.
They only have the hybrid games once a year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that you're doing this.
Yeah. I'm officially I signed up already.
So there's a couple people now in the gym that you've inspired that are going to start working in the next 12 months.
I love that.
And so I'm one of them because I want to get my ass back into freaking gears now that the gym's opening, it's running, and it's doing its thing, right? And so I'm really excited to hear what you're going to be going through. So make sure to keep us posted on all that stuff because there's a couple people that are like, let's fucking do this shit, dude.
It's exciting.
I don't know, Jeff, you down to do some HyperCon stuff, man?
It depends on what it is.
Does Big Sexy float?
He can fuck some shit up. Yeah.
I'm all for it. But yeah, remember my schedule is a little tighter during the summertime.
You know what? I don't think your schedule can be any more challenging than somebody who has 3 kids in 2 different sports, runs 4 full-time businesses. So
yeah, but I also travel on top.
So you just don't get in competitions that are during summer.
Yeah, there you go.
See?
When is HyperCon game?
End of October. But
there you go, buddy.
Oh, well, yeah,
there you go. Right. You're gonna be freezing your ass in the water, but that's okay.
Right. Yeah. Think of my San Diego races. See,
are you finding excuses already, sir?
Hey, man, I own 10 businesses.
10.
Yeah.
Hey,
you do what you gotta do. Yeah.
10 businesses. I own 20
sometimes
million
I feel like
businesses.
Sometimes I feel like it, but I'm never gonna say no.
See, and that's what I think is.
I'm not going to say that's a hard pass.
Yeah. Oh.
So it's
not the toughest mile.
Not the toughest.
Soft pass.
That's a hard pass. Yeah. I'm not going to say no, but I'm not going to say yes either.
See, and that usually means a no, by the way.
Yeah. I've learned. I'm learning, Jeff. Yeah. Usually when he says maybe, there's a good chance he's on the table. He's on the fence.
I can be talked into things.
Yeah.
Because my problem is I got FOMO.
Yeah.
So if I,
Oh, it's not a problem. It's an advantage.
yeah, so I start to look at things like, oh, somebody's having a good time. Oh, I wonder how fun that would be, or how crazy that would be, or like. So I do have
Yeah.
FOMO. So that's my downfall sometimes, is that I want to get into things because I have FOMO. But
Yeah.
again, I'm not saying
That's what makes our relationship so fun, dude.
I'm not exactly.
Yeah, let's not talk about relationships between you two. Yeah.
Exactly. So I will say that's not a hard pass. I'll just say it's a soft maybe at this point.
Have you guys heard this saying? Actually, really cool. I like really dig it. You have IKEA furniture. You have had IKEA furniture.
Yeah, everybody's had IKEA.
You've put IKEA furniture
Whether they
together.
want to admit it or
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
but
Everybody's at least put one piece
one
of
piece of
IKEA.
IKEA furniture in their house.
So there's a thing that's called an IKEA effect.
Okay.
Is the things that you feel the most rewarded about are the hardest thing that you've ever had to do, right?
Yeah.
It's an IKEA effect. The harder you work on it, the bigger the reward.
Yeah.
So this is one of those
We got
things.
a year, bro. We got a year.
Just to give you guys some
yes.
examples. So for man, the top, the guy who placed first, his deadlift was, I want to say like 640, and he then ran the 620-minute mile. After that,
Dude,
so-
the stat that I wanted most was like 2 minute
That
ass
is a
bike.
completely different thing. So now you're talking about the Crucible competition. That's an online competition. Anybody can enter. It's actually through Alex Viada's company, the Complete Human Performance. It's open to everybody. They started putting things out in August. I won it last year. So on the female side, but there are 5 different elements to that one. Again, you can do pro version, you can do scaled version. There are 2 major differences. So first you have to do a super total, which is squat, deadlift, bench, clean and jerk, and a snatch. Your second event is your endurance event, which if you're doing a pro, then it's a 6-hour endurance, bike or run. If you're doing scaled, it's 2 hours. So it doesn't matter how strong you are, because you're like, I can lift some pro weights, but then you're gonna have to do a 6-hour endurance event. So that's where you get to
6
choose.
hour, you get to pick bike or run.
Yes,
Longest distance.
correct. But bike miles convert to running a little bit differently. For each mile of running, you get 3 miles on biking,
Got it.
which sucks. In 6 hours, I'm planning to run 30 miles this year. So I'm going to do running, not biking this year, but last year I couldn't run, so I had to bike. It's your second one.
And it's road bike?
Oh, it doesn't matter. You can do 6 hours on an ass bike.
Good, fuck that.
I actually know somebody, you guys, who did 6 hours on an ass bike, and she's like, it wasn't so bad.
No, you
I'm like, man, there's something wrong with
you.
you.
Got to screw loose.
Yeah. Also, that girl who did it, she did the most reps in the long cycle with a kettlebell. It's another event, and then 2 minutes on a basically air bike, any air bike. They give you requirements as maximum calories on
In 2
air
minutes.
bike. 2 minutes.
This is a stat that I want. And I think I can hit.
Yeah.
I think I can hit it.
Yeah. It's 87.5 calories. That's
For 2 minutes.
Yeah.
We talked about that yesterday.
We're going to do it, dude.
Yeah. Of course, you talked about it yesterday.
Yeah, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
You don't think I can do it? Look at the look of disgust, doubt on his face is priceless right now.
But you know what the best part about this competition is if you get a sword.
Wow.
Well, I'm good for the sword.
Dude, I'm doing it for the sword, bro.
It's not, but like how
I
often
don't have
do you
to
get?
run. I can bike, bro. I'm in, Flynn,
I
bro.
mean, we have medals, but do you have a sword?
I do not have a sword yet.
Because I do have a sword now, and my kids love
Is
it.
it like a real sword though?
Oh,
not like a plastic.
No.
No.
It says Crucible Champion of 2023. I'm planning to win it again this year. I'm also going to run the 50.
All right, who was the top male? Let's figure this out.
Oh, I don't know. We can go back to the stats and look it up.
We'd have to Google it.
Yeah.
What's Google?
What's Google?
All right, so that's enough about the stupid shit. I love all this shit, dude. And I think Jeff and I got some ideas on what we want to do for the next stupid shit of the...
You have some ideas.
Dude, I'm the only one that come up with the ideas. You came up with one good idea, and it was the ruck. You know, what is the other? Come on.
Oh,
dude.
I keep hearing about it. And
Dude, that was a good time.
No,
That was a good
I
time.
saw it.
Yeah.
I watched you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was a good time.
It's good times.
It was a camaraderie thing.
Yeah.
More than anything else.
But it wasn't really that stupid per se. Other than we've never rucked, and
I don't know.
could have been worse.
Depends on
but-
your mentality of it.
I mean, think about it. It's just imagine you gain 20 pounds.
Yeah.
So,
So,
Overnight. But anyways.
yeah.
thank you for coming.
Yeah. Thank you for
This
having
was
me.
fun to learn a little bit more about you, get a little bit more background, and hear about some of the stupid shit that you get into.
Yeah,
More
thank you.
importantly, thank you for sharing about your journey in the fitness industry. I think it's huge. And I think the audience is going to really get to know you in that perspective, especially when they're coming into OTH and they see this Warden, tough looking person that actually is.
Who gave you the name
my
Warden?
God.
Where did that come from?
I think it was Heather Gomez.
Of course it was.
So the background on this. Izzy and I, we did this running coaching together. It was called Ghost Runners. And back in the day, Heather was getting ready. She was training for a 50K, I think, and she was working on some of the nutrition. And my nutrition protocol for endurance runners is very easy. Like we do an elimination diet in the beginning to find some things that may or may not work for you. And then we go from there. Helps people like see how much they eat, how it's the process. Anyway, it's a weekend and we are doing a group run of some sort. And Heather is hanging out there and eating some sort of tortilla. And she looks at me and I look at her and our eyes meet. And I look at her and I say, I don't judge, I take notes. And ever since then, somehow she's Warden. And that it just got stuck.
It just kind of stuck.
And never went away. Because I'm like, I don't give a fuck about what you're eating because it's only affecting you. I'm taking notes so we can understand what does and doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I didn't mean it in a bad way, but I guess the way it comes out. But I'm an alien, so I just blame everything on that. And we don't smile in Russia, so I'm already smiling so much. I'm a very smiley Warden here.
Her smile looks evil. So I don't know. She's like,
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm pretty friendly.
Anyway, thank you very much for joining us and sharing your journey for sure.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been fun.
This has been an international podcast transmission of No Fixed Agenda presented by Bubs Naturals. You can rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcast episodes. NFA, over and out.